Happy Memorial Weekend. This project is brought to you as always by Kathleen Wayland of Wayland Financial at 128 Buckland in LaSalle. Now, I have shared with you before the story of Mendota's commitment to reimagining and reshaping itself. A couple of bad fires in the downtown area in recent years have prompted the city to look at rebuilding thoughtfully and with an eye on attracting businesses and the jobs and the people who come with them. Big part of this is making sure that the community is involved, very involved. And a part of that has meant enlisting the help of school kids to not only give their input on what they would like their city to be, but also to help collect data and do other educational things that at the same time that help the kids realize that they have a stake in the city's future too. So you have met Annie Short before. Now, she and the Reimagine Mendota initiative were the subject of a Tom's Take installment from a year and a half ago. It was November 26th of 2023. And she's a Mendota native who moved away and came back to help out in her hometown. And she and the people in Mendota are all in on aggressive improvement, right? Allie Brayboy came on board to work in finding and applying for the grants and doing a lot of the legwork associated with it. And they work very well together. You know, first met Allie when she was a reporter at the local paper, and I just joined the station 6-7 years ago. And her background suits her very well in this job. Allie is also a freshman county board member too, and she happens to represent my district in LaSalle. So these things are meshing quite well, the economic development and rebuilding initiative in Mendota and having an eye on how the county does things too. And I asked her about that, and you'll hear some of that in this interview too. I've been planning, in fact, to do a check-in with them a couple weeks ago, and I recorded interviews with them that you're going to see in just a minute. But then I made the decision last week to stop by the air show and got some footage from there that I decided to use. And I pushed the Mendota story to this weekend. And as a nice coincidence, the state of Illinois announced just a few days ago that Mendota's earned a grant to build a multi-purpose 10 feet wide path from the train station to Lake Kekucha Mendota High School. It's a distance of about 2 miles. And you're going to hear more from Allie about that. Days before she was to find out that they had earned the grant. So that's a nice little bit of knowledge to have before you see this. Utica and Walnut also got grants for paths too. And there's a lot of good happening, and I think you'll find that in Mendota right now. Here it is.
Transformation is definitely in progress. We have 4 major projects that will start taking shape. Some of it has to wait till Sweet Corn Fest because life revolves around Sweet Corn Fest in Mendota. So can't mess things up. We have to make things look beautiful, and then we can go into our mess. And also I think that what has continued is just seeing the community engagement and the involvement. It's just really fun to see people getting excited about what's happening, what's coming, people, wanting to talk about the great things in our city. So one of the things that came out of our Community Heart and Soul grant was that people were hoping that the city would have a new website. So the city does have a new website. So on the website there is towards the bottom of the home page, it says Why I Love Mendota, so people can go there and see individual videos that people have made, but also our collective video.
How many grants has the city earned since you came on?
Since Community Heart and Soul, the city has earned 15 grants. The first grant that really kind of kicked things off was our drug prevention grant. That's what hired me as well as 2 other staff people to help with projects, but also some additional grant writing. And so that is really to support our kids, and we've been able to do some really cool things. We do activities, so when the students are every month they have an early dismissal. So now we have activities for those students to do. So 1 month they had a dodgeball tournament. This last month we did a scavenger hunt around the lake. We had some adults actually teach like CSI skills and how to do investigation and forensics, and we're also starting a leadership program. So we now have high school and middle school students as part of a leadership who help plan the scavenger hunt. During the summer, we do Explore Your Likes. So kids got to learn how to sew and crochet and change a tire and those kind of things. So really just investing in our students is important. One of the other cool projects that happened with our students is that they actually went through the whole community heart and soul process where they asked all the students what they liked about their school. So it was a Northbrook middle school project. The 8th graders asked all the students, they conducted a survey, they did focus groups, they actually asked everybody what they wanted, and then they did a voting process and they did a movie night. So we had 200 kids at a movie at the school. Mainly, we want our students to know just as much as our adults, their voice is just as important, and we want them to like the community they live in. We know that students who feel part of something, they're less likely to be involved in, unhealthy choices and unhealthy behaviors. And the more that they feel connected, they may still go away for school, or, to get married and those things, but we want them to feel proud of the home that is home to them. And so that's a great way, and it helps us become better as a community to support them and future generations. So one of the big grants that we just received was a downtown economic development grant. So one of the buildings that the city owns was partially damaged from the fire, the second fire. And so it is just sitting there. But the grant, we know that it needs to have something done to it. It will be the catalyst for, I think, this neighborhood that we live in, to have it kind of use it as a springboard to say, look, we're not done. We're just getting started. So that grant will help us put in, it's a 2-story building, so the upstairs will be co-working space. So to encourage people, especially even from Chicago, to think about moving here or other suburb areas, because we have a great location with the train. Our downtown, we just got a coffee shop that opened across the street from that. So it's a great opportunity to come and work and feel like you're still connected with people. Use it for a mailing address if people want. It will be all high tech, 3D printers, that kind of stuff. The downstairs, though, we want to turn into public market space because we want to really inspire and support entrepreneurs.
So what kind of marketplace were we talking about?
So it could be like an indoor farmer's market almost. So we can have that. We can do events and then, but it could be, come share, sell what you want. We've talked about doing an under 21 market. So anybody who is under 21 having space to sell their stuff to support, again, our students. One of the other grants, though, that we just received is through the Farm Bureau. And so that will support, so if somebody is interested in starting a business, they can get one-on-one coaching of how to start a business plan and how to write that business plan and think about what that business model is. And then beyond that, you can also get one-on-one coaching for marketing and how to have them review your website and see if that looks good. Is there ways to improve how you're getting people in? And also through this process, people can do Google certificates, so get some training on technical stuff. And so that's all through a Farm Bureau grant. But again, our goal is we don't want just businesses to come here. We want them to thrive. We want to support them with getting the building, whether it's a space, if it's just a public market space. We're working with our business owners to look at doing pop-up spaces. So we can meet, it's good in some ways to say we can meet you at whatever level you're at. If you just need a space to put your computer in, you could plug that in. If you want to sell some of your products, if you want to do a pop-up, rent a building, or we actually have open space that you can build a whole building and put that there too, because right now our downtown is open for any kind of business. We did get the OSLAD grant, so we'll be starting to work on some of our parks. Our sidewalks are a huge thing for us. So you'll start to see different changes. We got our Safe Routes to School grant that, again, I wrote that before I even worked for the city, and it's just now starting to get implemented, so it takes a little while. Allie, she does great of doing all the research and helping she's great at finding the grants, knowing what the grants are, connecting, getting all the paperwork together. And then a lot of times I'll help with writing the narrative and we'll proofread it together. So we're really just a great team.
So I started in journalism, and there was an opening for a grant writer position with North Central Illinois Council of Governments, and they're a nonprofit. They're amazing. They service the 6-county region, and they do grant writing. And I applied there, and I didn't know if I would be good, but It ended up being awesome, and they taught me everything I know. Really, what grant writing is, it's about storytelling and telling what you want and what you need and going and getting it. Every grant is a different story. We do have statistics that we can keep using, but usually it's just you have to keep doing it because data gets old and you want to tell the best story. But I love investigation and I love researching, so it doesn't bother me. Like, I like making the story different every time.
Well, I would imagine that your background as a reporter has helped in that regard, certainly. And as a county board member now, I wonder if being involved in a city has allowed you to bring some more knowledge to that position and being involved in the county and vice versa. Have you seen them complement each other yet, or are you still kind of new in the county role?
I'm still learning how they can complement each other, but what I've learned with economic development is that none of us are competing. We're all reaching the same goal, and we're all here to work together because when one of us succeeds, the other succeeds. And that is my hope, that we can all succeed together. I'm really proud of the downtown grant that we worked on. We just received $2 million from DCO to renovate a building in downtown Mendota that had been destroyed by a fire. And to see the photos, it's just emotional. But there's also so many other projects that we've been working on, like a park grant. And what I've realized is just that there's so much more to a city than like the tax dollars that a downtown brings in. It's parks, and it's making people feel loved and wanting to live there. We're waiting on a bike path, walking path, and that's gonna be really exciting. I'm really hoping for it. I know it's a competitive grant, but I would love to see it because it would take people from the Amtrak to Lake Kekucha, and that would just be amazing.
And as I said at the start, they got that grant too. Thanks, Kathleen Wayland of Wayland Financial at 128 Buckland in LaSalle for sponsoring Tom's Take every week. Have a safe and a happy and thoughtful Memorial Day.